and we will convey as the drainage trustees. We need approval of drainage claims.
All right, you had one claim today, which was for Mazdam Construction in the amount of $582.50. This was presented to you last week as an invoice.
Motion to approve as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Would you read the minutes from the previous meeting?
Okay, the meeting was December 30th, 2024, and the minutes read as such. The Wright County Board of Supervisors met in regular session as trustees of the drainage districts with the following members present: Carl Hugable via phone, Rick Robinson, and Dean Clues. Also present were Betty Ellis, auditor, and Courtney Morris, drainage administrator. Other interested parties present were Ashley Bosch. Via Zoom were Lynn Lukes, Robert Watts, and the Wright County monitor. Motion by Clues and seconded by Rasmussen to call the meeting to order. Motion carried. Motion by Rasmussen and seconded by Clues to approve drainage claims for payment. Motion carried. Minutes of the previous meeting on December 23rd, 2024 were read and approved. There were no work orders needing approval. Morris presented the following drainage invoice, which was for our Mazdam Construction for DD 36 and the amount of $582.50. Work being done by Henniger Construction and DD 36 lateral 3 was discussed. Rasmussen presented a breakdown of total work completed to date totaling $83,912.50. There is still some work that needs to be completed, which will bring the estimated final total to $96,187.50. The estimate that was received in October 2024 totaled $48,700. Clues stated that he had spoken with our drainage attorney, but did not receive a definitive answer if any engineer's report is now required, with the total being greater than $50,000. Action to appoint an engineer was tabled. Morris was instructed to send notification to landowners of DD 36 lateral 3 for an informational meeting on January 13th, 2025 at 9 a.m. and to contact Henniger Construction to make sure they are available to attend as well. Motion by Rasmussen and seconded by Hugable to adjourn the meeting. Motion carried.
Any additions or corrections?
So corrections, we should change that to lateral C instead of lateral 3, because lateral 3, no work has been done yet.
These specific minutes, yes.
Okay, so I would make a motion to change the reference to DD 36 lateral C. And that's one in 2 places on these minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. The Dean, will you sign that since you were mayor pro tem at that time? Once you get something changed,
All right.
Review and act on drainage work orders. Got one, I see.
Yep, we have one here. Dean has the original. Dana Walken came in. He has reported 2 blowouts within a 24 and a 22-inch tile, it looks like. This is in DD 80 on the main in Lincoln Township, section 29. And he has requested Mazdam on this, and the site is available for repair now.
I went out and looked at the site, the county map on, what's that system called?
Beacon.
On Beacon, obviously does not match, where the lines actually lay on the ground. Both of the blowouts are on the main. And I asked Brian to send photos to you, which he has done.
Yep.
I also asked him to contact me if the estimate was gonna go over $10,000. Larry came in this morning and has advised me that it's $12,500. And so I've given the go-ahead to repair that.
Okay.
Review and sign any open drainage invoices.
All right, we have one invoice here. This is for DD 36 lateral C for those informational hearing notice letters that were sent out. The amount is $20.01.
I'll make motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ayes, all ayes, thank you. And you want to sign this copy here,
Yep.
right? I'll pass mine around. You guys can sign it.
They don't have to sign that one, only you.
Just me?
Yep.
Okay,
Here.
thank you. Okay, discuss Drainage District 36 lateral C. Watch your knees when you.
Where do you wanna start?
I guess the big question is, when we exceeded the estimate, why wasn't there notification? Iowa code calls for us to, hold an informational meeting if the estimate is over $50,000. We thought that we had some gravy in there at 48,700 was the bid. And so we're just wondering where that breakdown happened.
Well, I took Rick out there and we went through it and he was pushing time, so it had to be finished, so I guess we didn't know about that.
Right.
I was told that it was 100 plus at one time through a state.
Okay, that's for a competitive bid, but for notifying landowners within the drainage district of the amount of money that they're gonna be on the hook for, it's $50,000. If you exceed that, it requires an informational meeting for the landowners.
Well, and what we run into out there is there's a lot of sandy soil, so the banks are sloughing. And we took it back to a total restructure. We didn't just do a dip out. The thing's been dug 4 times before and wasn't completed the way that it should have been. It's being completed on right now, with the sandy soil.
And again, I understand that. I wanna make sure that you guys understand that the Iowa code, so that if you give us a bid less than $50,000, if it exceeds that, it is imperative that you tell us before it exceeds that, so that we can comply with the law. Actually, the code says not only informational meeting, but if it's gonna exceed $50,000, we're supposed to get an engineer's report. So in this case, we've got a bill that exceeds $50,000. I understand that the work needed to be done and that the work is done. But then, it comes to the supervisors and they put on the agenda to, get an engineer's report. And so now I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Why would we go spend more of the landowner's money for an engineering report that we don't know, the work's already done? So,
Engineer will tell you that we took it back to original restructure. And I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I just wanna make sure that you fully understand, because I don't know what the legal implications could be, on this. So,
Well, and I'm not putting Rick on the hook here either, but I did call Rick and, when we were partway through it and we went out and looked at it. So that way, I felt like I was doing my job with getting with the supervisor on that project.
did you
And
guys discuss the amount?
we discussed him out, he knew he was gonna go over, but he never stated how much over. That was before he went over.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it's, partially my fault as well, cause is this a new ruling that came in? Cause I've never had that trouble before
No,
on drainage work.
it's been in, part of 468, 126 for a long time. It used to be 20,000 and increased to 50,000, so, okay.
Well, at the
So-
end, what we ended up doing is, you bill it out by the hour because it over exceeded. And, we got a lot of time out there. I was more than fair, like I said, a simple repair of 15,000, I was at 90 some, and you guys can see the work that I did.
Yeah. So I'm not questioning the work, Dan, I'm not. I wanna make sure that we don't find ourselves in this situation again.
Sure.
So I got one question. So when was this moved into law, or is it up to date with current prices and times? Is there anything you guys can be proactive on now?
When I came in as a supervisor in 2019, I believe the threshold at that time for an engineer's report was 20,000, 25? Okay. I can't tell you when, but sometime between 2019 and, probably, I know at least for 2 years, it's been at 50,000. So somewhere in that 22 or 2021 timeframe, it changed to 50,000. And again, it's easy when you're reading through the code book to get confused by, okay, does that have to do with competitive bid or not? But $50,000 threshold requires that you get an engineer's report and you determine whether or not you're going to do a reclassification. It also requires you to have a landowner meeting, or I would have a landowner meeting. The competitive bid threshold is anything over $153,000. Now you have to go out and put it out for bid. So.
The drainage administrators around the area, did voice opinion at our last IDDA meeting that they feel that the 50,000 is probably pretty low, and that we should probably look at that to have it increased some. We spoke with the, drainage attorney for IDDA and voiced that concern to him, but like he told us, you know, that has to go all through the legislature, so that's gonna take time to get that changed if that is a step that gets
If you
taken.
look at the $50,000 amount, and then you throw an engineer in there, everything's just gonna compound, and you're not gonna get much work done, because
That's right.
if you divide it out by the hours, we're not gonna have much work to give you for your hours for your money.
And that's why I said, no, let's have a meeting. We've got a meeting scheduled for next week, with the landowners to notify them what's going on, just to cover the base, saying, no, we aren't going to get an engineer's report because there's no point in it. I
It's
mean,
gonna add another
exactly,
$30,000 to the bill.
exactly. So,
So,
okay. And I assume that you've been asked to be there next Monday.
yeah, we changed. We're going to Texas, dig a water line for a friend of ours.
Okay.
Water main, and then, so we changed our flight time, so we'd be here. So-
Appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll be here.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
You had mentioned something about there was some seating costs that still go into this,
Yeah.
it wasn't included in the estimate.
Yep. So, I got that.
And I just kind of give an idea description.
Okay.
So this is just an idea.
This amount shows 23,400. You want to see that? You can make copies for all of you as well.
And that's what I'm saying. It's a problem.
We only got one estimate.
Yeah.
Just to have something available.
Better to wrap a brain around it.
Good.
So that's additional to,
Mhm.
gotcha.
That was the one. I mean, when we did it, before, you can get that one and the next one will be 8,000, so we're just.
If you'll just have that information so that for the meeting next week before I know.
Yeah, I'll make sure you each get a copy.
Okay.
Is the area, is that just the ditch banks or is that in the CRP?
That's basically ditch bank. I've just guesstimated 20 to 25 feet.
Mhm.
And then that's almost 2 miles.
And there is no CRP along that ditch bank.
No.
They farm right up to the edge.
So-
Well, they try to leave a section so that if you have a ranger or an ATV is what one of the landowners, I talked to the landowner this weekend about it. And,
And that's 5 acres. I think we're just a little bit over on that.
yeah,
Districts in 5 acres is enough. We'd have to actually do it there. And then have done again.
and the landowner said it was a really nice job, doing a good job.
Yeah, there's been.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, no.
nothing on the work, fellas. It is just the procedure that we gotta make sure that we do correctly.
And that's 468.1261C is what talks about repair and when it meets a threshold and
Can
whatnot.
you guys email us like that or anything? I mean, I don't- we kind of know now, but if you can.
Yeah.
let them know what we're gonna read it.
Yes, I will do that.
Well, they move that threshold all the time, I know that, cause I was thinking like,
The competitive bid threshold they moved,
Yes.
at
that's
one time it was
almost-
60,000.
almost
right?
annually, I believe, but the requirement for an engineer's report and a informational meeting, that doesn't move very often. It's only moved once since I've been a supervisor.
That'd be nice to get that engineer report requirement up there, ways, so it can justify within the job, otherwise you're talking.
Yeah.
20% of the whole job is.
I have an extra copy. You guys can have that one. That one is the flow chart that we were given by the legal counsel for IDDA.
Do we need to, changing all of the meetings and stuff?
But I can email it to you as well, just so you have it.
Courtney, there's also a highlighted thing in your notes here about, do we need a motion to adjust all of the minutes, the previous minutes? Because we've been talking about lateral 3 and it's actually lateral C. I mean, we've corrected them on the minutes that we approved today, but previous minutes.
Yeah, we just need to, have you guys state that all previous minutes where it was mentioned for this project, that we need to correct those minutes to go from lateral, 3 to lateral C.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
We'll see you Monday.
You bet.
Did he say,
Those copies are for you.
If you don't want.
Congrats,
this,
Jeff.
and you're good.
Yeah, if you don't want
Leave
them, you can
them,
leave
they'll
them.
go away.
Yeah,
no.
it's the procedures of
We just
where
want to keep
something is
original.
filed, and then, you know, you
Yeah,
go down and
original
it
title,
says,
label
is the
on it.
project repair or improvement?
this.
And if it's an improvement, you can this
Perfect.
way.
So I'll leave
If it's
that in there
repair,
and then the
goes here.
minutes.
Then it says, is
Because I
the
need to
public
sign those,
hearing
I'll leave
needed,
that.
project cost 50,000, but it's a flow chart.
No, I've never seen one of that.
There probably is.
Really handy on, if something comes in and. We're. Sure. I can take that whole thing out, thank you.
Okay, now we will convey, or no, we need a motion to adjourn as trustees.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Okay, now we'll convey as Board of Supervisors. I need an approval of the tentative agenda.
so moved.
I'll say it.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Yeah, would you read the minutes from the previous meeting?
January 2nd, 2025, Chairman Pro Tem Cruz called the regular meeting of the Wright County Board of Supervisors to order at 9 a.m. First order of business was to give the oath of office to the newly elected officials. The oath was given by County Attorney Eric Simonson to Supervisor Rick Rasmussen, Supervisor Ashley Bosch, Supervisor Dean Cluse, Supervisor Lynn Lukes, Supervisor Betty Ellis, Sheriff Jason Slutenhofer, and Auditor Anita Meyer. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Ellis to elect Rick Rasmussen as the chairman and Dean Cluse as chairman pro tem for 2025. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse and seconded by Bosch to approve the tentative agenda. Motion carries. Minutes of the previous regular meeting of December 30th, 2024 were read and approved. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Bosch to set the mileage rate at 70 cents per mile for county employees for 2025. Motion carries. This follows the federal mileage rate. Motion by Cluse and seconded by Ellis to keep the current drainage warrant interest rate at 6%. Motion carries. Motion by Cluse, seconded by Ellis to approve the listed county employee holidays for 2025. Motion carries. Motion by Clues, seconded by Lukes to approve the petty cash amount for various offices listed below. Motion carries. Motion by Clues, seconded by Ellis to appoint the eminent domain compensation commission for 2025 as listed below. Motion carries. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to receive the cash count from end of day December 30th, 2024 from the Wright County Treasurer. Motion carries. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to appoint Board of Supervisors to various boards and committees as listed below. Motion carries. Naming the Wright County Drainage Attorney has been tabled. Motion by Ellis, second by Clues to appoint the township trustees as listed below with John Campbell to fill the vacancy to expire 2026. Motion carries. The Wall Lake and Woolstock Township trustee appointments have been tabled. Motion by Clues and seconded by Bosch to have Wright County Monitor, Eagle Grove Eagle, and Belmont Independent as the official newspapers for county business. Motion carries. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to approve the listed medical examiners, deputies, and investigators. Motion carries. Motion by Ellis and seconded by Clues to approve the reappointment of Aaron Wagner to the Board of Adjustment for a 4-year term. Motion carries. The Board of Adjustment is as follows. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to approve the reappointment of Margaret Warden and Brad Robson to the Economic Development Board for a 3-year term. Motion carries. The Economic Development Board is as follows. Motion by Clues, seconded by Rasmussen to approve the reappointment of Trish Morris, Kevin Callahan, Dennis Bowman, and Adam Vorey to the Wright County Charitable Foundation for a 2-year term. Motion carries. The Wright County Charitable Foundation is as follows. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to approve the reappointment of Susan Tofty for a 3-year term to the Wright County Board of Health. The Board of Health is as follows. Motion by Ellis and seconded by Clues to approve Resolution 2025-01, a resolution authorizing attendance at meetings by roll call. Ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-01 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Bosch to approve Resolution 2025-02, a resolution for payments of claims prior to the board meeting. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-02 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Ellis to approve Resolution 2025-03, treasurer name and depositories. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-03 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Lukes to approve Resolution 2025-04, a construction evaluation resolution. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-04 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Bosch to approve Resolution 2025-05, sheriff naming depositories. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-05 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Ellis to approve Resolution 2025-06, recorder naming depositories. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-06 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues, seconded by Bosch to approve Resolution 2025-07, a weed control resolution. By roll call, ayes, Ellis, Lukes, Rasmussen, Bosch, and Clues. Nays, none. Resolution 2025-07 duly passes and reads as follows. Motion by Clues and seconded by Ellis to adjourn the meeting. Motion carries.
Any additions or corrections?
Yes. Under the page with the Wright County Health Department Board of Health. Carl Helgevold is no longer on that Board of Health, it's Ashley Bosch.
Okay. When you, make connect or corrections of that, just let me know, Deb, and I'll come in and re-sign it.
And then for the trustees for Wall Lake and Woolstock, Dean, if you wanna work on Wall Lake for next week, I will work on Woolstock.
I've been working on it for the last 2 years.
Claims have been around. Open forum for the public input. Anybody on Zoom or in here wanna speak? Hey, receive the monthly revenue report for the Wright County Sheriff for December. Oh, you wanna give that to me so I can? Sorry. Try to be efficient. County car service and fees mileage, $1,334.68. County new and renew weapon permits, $140. Copy fees, $45. A total of $1,519.68.
Motion to receive.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes. Okay, it's not quite 9:30 yet. We'll be in recess for about 3 minutes. Cause Adam does not have that short of time.
We got them out hiking every day.
Okay, we'll be back in
We're back
session. And it is Ryan Bourbon
Yep.
with the Assured Partners to give health insurance update.
Yeah, very good. All right, good morning, everybody. We're gonna review your employee benefits renewal that you purchased through ISAC, for a July 1, 2025 effective date. So if you open up your proposal past the thick card stock, we have a table of contents. We have some updates for fiscal year 26. So this renewal for July 1 of 25 will end June 30 of 26, and that's why it's called FY 26. We have a compensation disclosure. We just put this in every one of our proposals. We actually have no products that we work directly with your county on. ISAC would be the employer of record for all of those benefits. But we include that with every employer's renewal. Tab 3 is your medical renewal, tab 4 is vision, and then we have some voluntary benefits to review on tab 5. The next page is your fiscal year 26 renewal forecast. At a high level, the ISAC pool had a very good fiscal year 24. That was the year that just ended in June. Think of ISAC as an insurance company, and we had about $8 million of net profit or net income. So that stayed within the pool, and moving forward with the overall pool did is they reduced rates by 3% from the base rate perspective. So your group has also gotten healthier over the last 3 years, and I think that's going to help you moving forward, where you could likely look at a 0% renewal next year and maybe even the following based on how you're going to get slotted, and we'll look at that. But the overall pool is running very well. So the 6,000 members that make up that multi-employer health plan, we had a very good year. So your medical renewal is actually going down 3. Vision's a 3% increase for July, and that's just a pooled increase for every county that's in the Avisus pool. And then the accident and critical illness that employees can purchase, additional buy-up, that's in a rate guarantee, along with the voluntary accidental death and dismemberment. All right, if we go to tab 1, let's do a quick review of this first page. The health program, we have 28 counties. We got one more. We had one county leave 2 years ago, Cass County. They came back a year later. So they want to be back in the pool. We have 2 other counties that we're underwriting right now that I think will join for July 1. So I think we'll get to 30 by this July. The dental program's got 29, 26 in vision. Back to the health, that first bullet point probably is the biggest reason we're continuing to see more counties show interest. We can get renewal rates to them before Thanksgiving. So as you start to think about budgets for the next year, you actually have firm rates for a big line item expense for the next fiscal year.
When you bring on new counties, does, if the pool's healthy and somebody comes in that's not.
Yep, so we can underwrite.
Okay.
So yeah, we do, yep, and I've turned down a county 5 consecutive years.
Okay.
That's wanted to get in, and they have poor risk, they have one member that's catastrophically ill. But yeah, we do underwrite.
Okay.
So we'll bring counties in above the base rate. We've had a couple of counties that we brought in 125% of base rate because they were so unhealthy, but it still made sense financially to bring them in, and they've been profitable for the pool.
Okay.
Yeah, so we certainly always try to protect the existing members that are trending in a good direction as a whole. All right, if we go to the next page, the wellness program for next year, and your group has gotten the full wellness discount the last 2 years, so you've done a great job. This runs January through October, and it's identical to 2024. So if 80% of employees receive their physical and fill out the fax form, submit it to Mercy, it's a 4% discount. If 60% of employees do the health risk assessment, it's an additional percent for a total of 5%. And then the employee incentives at the bottom are also the same, $100 for the physical. And Voya is in process of sending those checks out. So I would think in the next 2 weeks, employees should see checks showing up in the mail.
Very good. I've had employees questioning that.
Yeah, it's just a busy time of year for carriers to process. And we processed about 1,700 of those, so it's a big file that has to go through. $25 for the online assessment, and then up to $242 ISAC reimbursed just under $120,000 in walking challenge reimbursements last year. So 120,000 days, an employee reached 10,000 or more steps. So we put that in place 2 years ago. Since that day, our data has trended very positively. So is there a connection? Who knows? But It's a program that employees seem to really like. Then the last page in this section, the Care Bridge Employee Assistance Program. This is remaining with the same carrier. ISAC is increasing this benefit from 3 sessions per issue per year to 6. So employees will be able to see a counselor 6 times at no cost before they would need to use their health plan. You can do this virtually, or you can do it with a provider in your community. All right, tab 2 is the compensation disclosure. And if you flip the page to page 3 of 7, under the direct or indirect compensation, you'll just see that there's nothing listed here because the policies that you buy, the health program, the vision program, the voluntary benefits, all go through ISAC as the employer of record. So ISAC receives this on your behalf. There's no benefits that we work directly with your county on. All right, tab 3. This is where we'll spend the most time. This is your medical renewal. So this is the rate adjustment utilization key. This key creates your rate for the next fiscal year. So in the upper left-hand corner, fiscal years 22, 23, and 24 are the most 3 current years that we're using for data. You can see your collected premium paid each year, and then your total expense. So your group went from a very underperforming group to a very high-performing group over the last 3 years. 120% loss ratio to a 73. So a 3-year average, you're right at about a break even at 99. Last year's 3-year average was 107. So if you look at the key to the right, and this is how we slot your group relative to the base rate, you are in the upper part of the base rate range. Less than 110, but equal to or greater than 96. So you went from 107 to 99. Next year, when I come and meet with you, you're gonna lose a 120. And we hope that we replace it with something better. Looking at the most recent year, I think it's likely. I think it's very likely you're gonna bump up to a level 1 discount, which will help you 5%. So if the base rate goes up 5, your group's gonna come back down 5, you could likely look at a 0% increase. The middle section, we're specifically looking at large claims. So a part of your premium that you pay, ISAC uses that to buy stop loss insurance. We have a $200,000 deductible for every member on your health plan. That's reflective in the stop loss premium. So about $110,000 we paid, or ISAC paid on your behalf over the most recent year. We had 0 members exceed $200,000 in claims paid. But not only are we doing well on an aggregate basis, but on a specific catastrophic member basis, you're also trending well. You're receiving the full 2.5% discount or the level 1 discount that we offer. So if we go to the bottom, you have the base rate for fiscal year 25. That's the year that we're in right now. Fiscal year 26 is the renewal. Your experience rate went from a 0 to a 0, but remember, you got much closer to a level 1 discount. Large claim stated a -2.5, wellness, you kept all 5%. So you're 92.5 to 92.5, but base rate went down 3. So that's why your group is getting the full 3% base rate decrease that ISAC offers. Does that make sense? Okay. This next page is just a Wellmark report. We use this as a transparency report, so you can see that Wellmark's numbers are very close to ISAC numbers. The dates are off can be off by 30 days, but the total expense, the second column from the right of $1,269,000, if you go to the previous page, under fiscal year 24 total expense, you'll see ISAC's total expense number, and theirs is actually slightly less. $1,268,873 to $1,269,064. So again, the timing is off by a couple of days, which throws these numbers off, but ISAC's actually giving you slightly less in total expense than what the Wellmark report reflects. So if you go back to this Wellmark report.
Do that one more time.
Yep, so
I missed that.
if you see the total expense on
Oh,
the
okay.
Wellmark report, $1,269,000, look at the previous page total expense for
Yes,
fiscal
sir.
year 24.
Yep,
And it's gonna be about a couple $100 less.
gotcha. Okay,
So we've always showed the ISAC numbers, but a couple counties are like, I wanna see more.
okay.
So this Wellmark report, this is a transparency report to basically back up the numbers that we've always given you.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. This Wellmark report will show 15 months of data. It's all incurred over 12 months, but we have to include 90 days of run out because medical claims there's some lag between the incurred date and the paid date. And we'll actually have, ISAC will absorb some more claims for your group after those 90 days. But they're not assessing that as an expense to your group. So we started at about 4 million in covered charge. There's a discount of 2.5. This is kind of the smoke and mirrors of healthcare. You're gonna discount at 60%. It's like, why not just bill half of what you're gonna bill initially? And then you get down to a paid amount, because your county has a partial self-fund, employees, it looks like employees are paying a significant portion of their out-of-pocket healthcare expense. So that discounts the paid amount down to just under 1.1 million. Within ISAC has a pass-through for their fixed cost expenses, 60,000 for admin and about 115,000 for both stop loss insurance policies. That will total the $1,269,000. This next page is your medical renewal. We also included 25% risk of your partial self-fund. So in the number at the top, we'll include your premium that the employer is paying. So your portion of the premium plus your partial self-fund expense. So 2,212,000 renewing to 2,153, or a 2.6% decrease. The reason it's not 3 is because your partial self-fund risk stays the same. Because the underlying plan is not changing. So you're buying a $5,000 deductible single, 10,000 family, co-insurance to $6,850 and $13,700. Your county funds a majority of that expense. So you fund $5,850 for single and $11,700 for family. So the employee's net out of pocket is $1,000 and $2,000. You'll see towards the bottom there under the enrollment, we have 103 employees enrolled, 20 single, 83 family. And you can see, we didn't put any employee cost here. I think you have a couple different plans, and so that's hard to show in this proposal. So this number at the top would be the total premium. We also budgeted about $263,000 in partial self-fund claims. Bob would have all of those reports to back that up, but it's going to be close. It should be a pretty close number. Then this last page here are the plan portfolio for ISAC, all of the plans that we offer. Your plan's all the way on the left-hand side, Plan 11C. We have another plan that's similar, and I've talked about this for a number of years. Plan 16 is going to be very similar to your current plan, only we use the Wellmark point of service network. So it's a hybrid network where it's the HMO in Iowa. If you leave Iowa, specifically if you go to Mayo, the claims will still be covered, but they're paid under the out-of-network benefit. But ISAC has the same deductible, same out-of-pocket for in and out-of-network. We customize that. And so what that means to the normal person is you'll get all of your credit towards your partial self-fund if you go and have claims at Mayo. In Iowa, we get a deeper discount on claims because it's under a more exclusive network, which is why you can see we price the product about 8% less.
Would the employee notice any difference as far as claims? Are they required to
They have to
self-file some claims if they went to Mayo or do some additional?
No, the biggest disruption in Iowa, there's some chiropractors that will not be in network under the point of service benefit. And so some of those claims, the members will lose their deductible waived and they'll pay 100% of that cost. It will still go towards their Auxant partial self-fund, but you're gonna pay more at the point of sale. You have to designate a primary care physician for your physical, but it's still open access. You can go and see any specialist that you wanna see. It's hard to recommend changing when your rates are going down 3%. But it is some low-hanging fruit. It's an additional 8% that it's minimal disruption. So NIAC's the community college in Mason City, they're a client of mine. We just offered this last year. They had 60% of their employees take that network. They're even closer to Mayo than you are,
Right.
with much more utilization. So it's a very good network. It's additional discounts for claims that occur in Iowa. Maybe in a year where you're dealing with a more challenging renewal, just know that you have 8% sitting there.
Sure.
Yep.
So, and maybe this is more directed to Bob. Do you know, what is it, PCP?
Primary care physician.
Are there very many, that would not be covered if we were to change? Is there very many that, or,
Exactly. Which ones would change? Majority of the groups in this area that we work with are with Blue Cross and Blue Shield are still in the PPO network, not the POS network. Or they do the HMO, which is the same as the PPO network, so, which is a higher discount going to an HMO. So, but we can run a check and find out.
I think in Iowa, as a state, it's 99% the same as the PPO.
okay,
So primary care specialists are almost all, if they're covered today, they're likely gonna be covered in the point of service. Chiropractors are the one where you're gonna see a difference.
because we could, right now, our health insurance and our partial self-funding mirror each other. Everything's exactly, however, Wellmark handles it.
Yep.
Or Auxian does the exact same. So you could, I mean, if we were to, and I don't, this is just in my head, if you were to change to 16, plan 16, get the 8% discount, but still have Auxian process the same as we are today, is that a possibility?
Yeah, that's not a problem.
Yeah, they could process those chiropractic claims. They would know when they come through.
And they could still pay down to
Yeah, and you could pay it
the
down.
amount of what their copay would be or their percentage would be of that visit. It'd be the same exact process as what's happening today.
So so the employee wouldn't see a difference.
They necessarily would not see a difference unless,
They pay more when they go to the
when
chiropractor.
they go to the chiropractor, then there would be a potential reimbursement to the employee of the difference.
Yeah.
So there'd be maybe one more step in there, but they would take the hit at the point of service
Yeah.
with the chiropractor, which would probably be $10 to $15 maximum, more than likely, maybe 20
Yeah.
at the most. They may have to pay for the whole visit and then get reimbursed on the back end.
Yeah.
Are you running into anybody not processing the claim form with Wellmark? They
No.
Still submit everything.
No, everything flows the same way it does with the PPO, so there wouldn't be any change there. It would just be slightly higher out of pocket for the employee when they go to the chiropractor if they're charging up front.
And then if an employee was to go to Mayo, let's say, you get really sick and you're going for specialty care at Mayo, it would just put more pressure on our side fund, partial self-funding side fund,
Yep.
because of the way the claims would be processed, but the employee would not see anything.
The employee wouldn't see, they would see a little difference in their EOBs,
Okay.
but that would make a change for them on that process where the side fund would have to pick up the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Might have slightly higher utilization on your partial, but it'd be minimal. It'd be pretty, because that out of pocket max for the employee and the employer are still the same. So the county's max risk doesn't change. You just get there a little bit quicker.
Yeah.
Cause you would see a $150 difference in the family plan, what is it?
Yeah, about 150 in the family and,
65 in
no,
single.
yeah, it's about.
But the effect on the side fund, Betty, talk about that.
So the effect on the side fund would be you would be saving in premiums, but if they were to go to a Mayo, then the side fund would pick up more of those costs, because they're gonna process it just like they're doing today. But so it would put more pressure on our side fund, so we may have to take some of that 8% savings and
Shift it to
the side fund for that just in case purpose.
Gotcha.
So it'd be a percentage of the difference that you would wanna
Right,
build into the side fund the first year or two.
to make sure
That
yeah.
there's plenty of dollars in there long term.
And I don't know on $100,000 bill what that would look like to the side fund. You know, if somebody goes to Mayo, it's $100,000. I don't know how then it's
So-
broken down.
The max employer risk doesn't change, but the employees, instead of having deductible waive for office visits, they would pay up until their $1,000 out of pocket maximum right away. And then the employee or the employer is gonna pay the difference between 1,000 and 6,850. So your 5,850 doesn't change. Employees just reach their out of pocket sooner, which means the partial's paying a little bit sooner.
On a mail trip.
On a mail trip, when you leave the state of Iowa.
Gotcha.
I think it'd be really tough to even notice any difference, to be honest. It'd be minimal. If you're saving 8% on about 1.8 million in premium, so that's $150,000, maybe 10,000 of it. And I think that's on the high side that you would see an additional partial self-fund claims. It would be really almost unnoticeable.
Change is scary.
Yeah, some counties have also done, they offer both. You already have two.
Not going to them.
Good job, Daryl.
Okay, you should be back on now.
Okay, go ahead, Ryan, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right, no problem. So as I was saying, the vision increase is 3%, and that's for every county that's in the Avisus ISAC pool. We are covering now level 2 progressives at no copay, so that's an improvement. The next page is just the plan portfolio of vision plans. You already have the best vision plan that we offer. As you can see, the premium progressive lens copay used to be $110, so again, it's no charge now. And then the last tab, tab 5, these are the accident, critical, the voluntary benefits that we offer through ISAC. ISAC pays 100% of employee-only premium if you're enrolled in the health plan for the accident and critical illness. You'll see on the premium section there on the front, on the right-hand side, it's $0 if you're enrolled in the medical, $7.10 if you're not. And then you can see the VIAP amounts. So it is very affordable for an employee to cover their family at just over $12 a month. If you compare this to like an Aflac Colonial type product, it's 3 to 4 times as expensive. This is a group policy where we buy a lot of these every month. We also have the $100 wellness for the employee and any member that would enroll. So that would apply for the spouse and then limited children, $100 for everyone. It's 24-hour coverage, so you have coverage on and off the job in the event of an accident that you seek treatment for. And then on the back side, you can see all of the payouts. So depending on if an employee is enrolled in the core plan or the enhanced plan, these are the payouts back to the employee for an accident that they seek treatment for. It all starts with an initial visit that could be an urgent care, an ER, chiropractor can also start these claims, which is unique. And then the wellness is shown there at the bottom. Also, if you have employees with kids in organized sports, if they get injured in a sporting activity, you take these amounts and add another 25% on top of that. That's a really good benefit if you have kids. This next one is the critical illness on the right-hand side, and ISAC's paying for a $5,000 critical illness benefit for all employees enrolled in the health plan. You can see some of the different, under the schedule of benefits, the covered conditions. If you're diagnosed with one of those covered conditions, it pays a flat $5,000 for anything that shows 100%. And it's most of them. Skin cancer, you'll see, is a 10% benefit, and it's good each year up to 10 times per lifetime. Now on the backside, we have a voluntary buyout, so employees can buy additional $10,000 increments of critical illness up to a max of 30. You can also buy this for your spouse, the same $10,000 increments. The child gets coverage with the employee, and it's a simple $12.30 per 10,000 per month. Oftentimes, this product is sold age-based, so the older you get, it gets much more expensive. Because we bought so many of these, the carrier agreed just to do a composite rate, so it's the same rate for everyone regardless of your age. And then the last benefit is an old benefit that we've had for a long time, the voluntary AD&D or accidental death and dismemberment. Employees can enroll in $25,000 increments up to $250,000. And this is just through a post-tax payroll deduction. And you can see the costs on the backside based on the benefit amount. And if you want to cover this for yourself, employee plus children or full family.
Brian, can you just go over the accident insurance, the reporting requirements for this? I'm trying to think at the wellness meeting, is there a time limit or something on
Yep,
reporting these?
you need to report your claim within 30 days.
Okay,
Yep, so once you've sought care, you have 30 days to report the claim, and that starts the claim process.
Okay.
Yep. We've had, I think, $400,000 in claims paid through the accident policy just this year. So we've had a lot of utilization, and I think we had 48 people that remembered to submit a claim for the critical illness. So $40,000 got paid back on that benefit.
and I'm assuming that starts with your office, correct?
Submitting the claim?
Yeah, if somebody gets
No.
Boy,
They would just submit it directly online to Voya.
to Voya, okay,
Yeah.
all right,
Yep.
I will gladly help any employee that needs help with it.
gotcha,
I've done that,
okay,
but no, that's the employee that has to submit for themselves.
okay.
I want to make one caveat.
Yep.
I had a back injury last year.
Yep.
They did not recognize me going to see my chiropractor as my primary care physician to start the process. I had to go see my primary care physician, up in Garner
Really?
to start that process. So,
That's huge.
Were we with Voya at that time? We
Yep.
were with Voya,
yes,
okay.
it was last, February.
Huh,
And we were with
So-
Voya last January.
interesting. Yeah, we've had other members that started with, what's your name?
Adam Clemens.
All right, I'll look into that claim. Hey, how do you spell your last name?
CLEMONS.
CL. Okay. But the feedback we have had from Voya has been very good. It's a much improved claims process over Reliance Standard, so.
Great.
We've had a lot of claims go through without any issues. Okay, that's all I got.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Adam,
Yeah.
like we have 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, definitely.
So just a quick update, blades and trucks are doing sundry last week, are also out, rechecking if anything grew from our last year's brush cutting. As you remember, last year we did quite a bit of brush cutting, big project with that. So they're out back, seeing if anything grew over the year to, if they need to cut that. Also ditch burning, blades were out ditch burning, completed 14 work orders. So you can see on that report, quite a few of those were, ditch burn and sign replacement. And then a couple services. We did have a short week last week with 2 holidays, with New Year's and New Year's Day. And then light snow on the southern half of the county on 1-2, so wasn't anything that we needed to take action on. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, we could have got that done in 3 minutes.
I knew it. I was like, that was a minute.
Any old business while we're got the time? Meetings?
No, I would just bring up that I'm in contact with, a drainage attorney, Eric Edie. That was a recommendation by Dave after I hadn't been able to, find anybody else. I have contacted him, spoke with him on the phone this morning. He is willing to take us on. He was gonna send me an email. So I, point of contact information and, I told him that, I would be corresponding on what we needed to do to engage him. He was out of, Fort Dodge, but Dave thought that he was out of Ames now. And I didn't ask him when I talked to him on the phone. That's why I asked for the contact information. So.
I recognize that name. He used to be drainage attorney for Humboldt, I believe.
They will be in recess at 10:15. Okay, we'll be back in session, and I'd like to welcome Julie Edwards, Executive Director of UDNO, to give an annual update.
First of all, thank you for your support in the past year. It came in handy, as you will see. We put your money to good use serving clients in Wright County. We're making the same request that we made last year of $16,000. If you turn to page 2, there's a chart and a bar graph. And basically what this tells you is in the past year, $370,605 were the services that we provided families in Wright County. And that was a slight increase from last year of about $6,300.
And that money consists of helping with heating.
Yep.
Water bills, furnaces.
And water
Right.
this year no longer has it, but last year it did. If you look down at the chart, the emergency services is just what Rick is talking about, water, heat. Food is when they come in for the food pantry. That is a huge deal. And if you remember, when I started coming, we weren't tracking food.
Right.
We weren't tracking the cost of the donations we received. And so that's why it went from $870 to $13,000. So food is huge. Other is like baby room, coats for kids, hats, mittens, clothes. The next column over is housing. Our housing department has grown and really does help families locate safe housing, affordable housing, and then they help pay their deposit. And sometimes they'll pay 6 months of rent if they qualify for that. Senior program is the program where they get $100 and they can use it if they own their home, use it for snow removal, maybe painting something, like whatever they need, mowing the yard. Youth programs are pretty self-explanatory. If they need assistance buying shoes or paying a fee, then we have a little fund set aside for that. Special projects was back to school, adopt a family, bikes for tykes, birthdays, quilts, those type of things. You can see that went down 10,000, from 10,000 to $6,000. And that's probably because of the communities around that are starting to do the same. They might do backpacks or some school supplies. And so then families aren't coming into us for those. Weatherization, that is a program that you have to own your own home. They come in and do a neat audit. They assess your home, determine what's the most cost effective, energy efficient, what's the biggest bang for their buck. Usually it's a furnace, usually it's insulation, those type of things. So one family, one household, that makes a big difference, which we'll look at on the next page. That can really double that amount just by serving a few additional families. If you look at the last page, it's broken down to individual served and household served. Both are down just a little bit, 100, 200 individuals, 100 households. I looked at your census data and it kind of follows that. There's just been a slight decrease every year in your census data. And I think that could be some of the decrease that we've seen, even though the money we put out in services has increased. Or it could be the duplication of programs that are going on with the back to school, the coats for kids, that type of thing. If you look at those categories, we were talking about weatherization, you can see that it went from 7 individuals to 17 individuals. That's why you had that doubling effect on the first page. So kind of a summary, served 2,361 individuals and a little over 1,000 households. Next year, I've already started working on the data. We're transitioning between an old data system and a new data system. I'll give you the same information, but remember we talked about duplicated counts in previous years. If an individual used emergency services and food, they were counted in both categories. But we're interested in that, but we're also interested in what's our true number? How many people came through that door one time during the year? Our new data system will be able to give us that unduplicated number. So I'll bring you a little bit more information, and then next year we will look at who those people are. They're usually people on fixed incomes. So that means the elderly or disabled. It can be low income families who are working, who are not working, but we'll look at that next year kind of thing. So we're glad to have that new system that can disaggregate that data. Any questions about this report or programming?
No, not for me. We budgeted 16,000 last year towards them. We start our budget, are looking at our budget next week. So we will consider this and, we appreciate the information.
Yeah, appreciate all that you do for your citizens and our clients.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you, Julie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. If you don't hear back from us, let me know.
Will do. Thanks, Julie.
Did you get a copy of Sue Deb?
Here, I got another one.
No, she can have mine.
Thanks, Joel. Don't know if that means he has it or he doesn't need it.
I know what you want for money.
I know. Okay. See ya. Have a good day.
Yeah.
I've got also one more thing that isn't on the agenda, but it's that crisis intervention service that we got in the mail. They support 1,900, damn near 2,000 individuals in north central Iowa. They take care of crisis line calls, legal advocate for over 1,000 victims, medical 214 victims, 495 individuals for housing and financial assistance. They operated on an annual budget of $809,647. And they're asking us for $1,000 with help as they have in the past.
What's their name again?
Crisis Intervention Services.
Have they asked in the past? I don't recall.
I don't know if I can't,
I don't.
we got so many of them that ask, I can't recall whether they do or not.
I don't remember.
But I'll give this to Deb as well, so she can have that on file. Then when we get done getting all of our lists of people that want money, they can print us out a list and we can go from there.
Mr. Chair, since last Thursday, I've been informed that Reverend Dana Wingard has resigned from the Heart of Iowa Regional Housing Trust Fund representing Wright County. They've asked that I serve on their board. I would ask that the board consider that at their next meeting.
Okay.
At your next meeting.
Yep.
So that's a reappointment of, an appointment of you in place of Pastor Dana.
Correct.
We'll put that out for next Monday's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anything else before the board?
Motion to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
All ayes? Thank you.